Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back again with another Aston Villa latest news quick pod. And after the controversy of yesterday's kit reveal, which always causes debate, but I think yesterday was a little bit more than usual. Obviously, with the badge and the sponsor and the news of the two badges being used, and and all that, and the design, and maybe it not being quite as um, I don't know, as shiny and new as usual, kind of just bit average. I mean, I don't know, maybe people have slept on it and thought it's a nice kit. I don't know. uh, it's still going to cause debate. However, it's always good to wake up to good news, and super John McGinn has signed a new contract and is contracted to the club until 2027. And yeah, I think just wanted to give a little bit of my thoughts on it in terms of the journey that McGinn's been on with the Villa. And it's I think it's well deserved, and someone who you've got to look at his career at Aston Villa as being absolutely fantastic. And he's he's really epitomised the growth of the club, in terms of coming in 2018, signed by Steve Bruce for, I think it was 2.5 or 2.75 million, and has really grown with the club. You think when he first came in, that all action bustling centre midfielder that we've grown to love, and he's never lost that style in his play. Sprinkled in with some spectacular goals as well. Sheffield Wednesday at home springs to mind, and was a real key part of the run that we went on, the 10-game winning run under Dean Smith. 2 goals at Nottingham Forest, I remember. And obviously that playoff goal in the final. Also, previous to that, the performance against Rotherham when we went down to 10 men. I mean, Mcginn was absolutely awesome on that game, and that really tipped it off for us to get into those playoffs. And yeah, obviously the goal, the famous commentary, it's going to go in, and it's John McGinn. And he really epitomised everything about the club at that time, and really deserved his place in the Premier League. And from there, really took the Premier League by storm when we came into it. I remember scoring a cracking goal at Arsenal, and was a real kind of fresh head on the scene, a fresh boy on the scene, and was fantastic. All action again improving his game. Could he have stepped up into the Premier League? And he was showing that he was. And there was times where Man United were potentially interested in him. There was talk of £50 million deals to Man United. And that season, he got he's probably his first real setback, injury against Southampton at home, just before Christmas, and when he flew into a tackle. And that really did sideline him a little bit. And then lockdown came, and he wasn't quite the same after lockdown. And that's for obvious reasons. Many players weren't quite the same, but took him a while to get going. And yeah, that was probably the first real setback for McGinn. But being John McGinn, bounced back, and the season after in lockdown, we started the season absolutely flying. And McGinn was part of that with Grealish and Barkley and Hourihane and one or two others, and really kicked on towards the start of that season. And then again, I think as Villa did, they tailed off that a little bit in that season. It was a long season, and I think McGinn suffered again with that fatigue. And the season following that, under Gerrard, I would say he really sacrificed himself for the club. And had to play in numerous positions. Played deep in the midfield, played wide as a wide in a wide three in a strange position, and initially kind of really took to it again. And that goal against Crystal Palace with the celebration, he's become synonymous with McGinn. But it was always tinged with a little bit of kind of frustration with Villa fans that um, he always produced for Scotland. And if you look at his goal output, he's got 16 goals for Villa in 175 games, and he's got 16 goals for Scotland in just over 50 games. And that was the thing, like we were almost stifling him. But the great thing about McGinn was he sacrificed himself for the team, and that's so important. And I think that was one of the reasons why Gerrard made him the captain. Obviously, the way that was handled wasn't great at all, and kind of sidelined Tyrone Mings, and thrust McGinn into something that he possibly didn't really want to be put in front of. But again, being John McGinn, he slowly grew into that role, took it on his shoulders. And you see how when Unai Emery's come in, he backed him as the captain and kept him as the captain, and he's really been that influence and that real positive influence on the team. Leads by example. You can see him now starting to tell players what to do, point out to players where to go, because initially when he was made captain, I personally had my doubts in terms of, was he actually worthy of his place in the first team, and that was the thing with the captain. And it was only really we across the fan base could say that Emi Martinez was probably the only one who could guarantee himself a spot in the team, and McGinn wasn't that. But as that season went on, Emery worked with him. He listened to Emery, which is the main point as well as a player, and you saw that ability to pass come back through. He had more options in midfield. His confidence started to grow, and then he starts to move through the gears, and he becomes a real vital part of our side. And he's still playing in different positions. He can play forward, wide on the right. He can play behind Ollie Watkins. He can play in that deeper midfield. But the point is that he's got options on the ball, and he can pass. That he can pass to, and he can show how good a player he is. And I think, yeah, like I say, that growth as a man, as a player, will only continue, and he's contracted to the club till 2027. That would be 9 years at a club, and that's rare these days. We're talking about players, moving year after year. McGinn with the club for potentially 9 years, absolutely phenomenal. His 175 appearances so far. He's going to go well over 250. So look, long may it continue. And yeah, fantastic news for Villa after the controversy of yesterday. To wake up to some real positive news, and the captain signing a new contract is really good news. And hopefully he kicks on into next season, and hopefully we get Ollie signed up onto a longer term deal, because it's great to have these players that have been with us, like the likes of McGinn and Mings, been with us in that promotion season, taken us through that Premier League into Europe. If he, I think he said in his interview, if you'd have asked him that he's come to Villa from Hibs, taken us into the Premier League, survived in the Premier League, and now qualified for Europe, he'd have pinched himself. He wouldn't. There's no way he'd have believed you. So fantastic news for those players. Fantastic to keep that core element of the squad together. Now let's get Ollie signed up, and let's get some players in the door, and let's really kick on for next season. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you very much for all your support. We are well over 1,700 subscribers now, and well on the way to 2K before the season starts. So if you are new to our channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you could please all like this video and help us spread the word of this channel. Yeah, let's celebrate the great news of John McGinn signing his contract. That's me signing out. Thank you all for watching, and as always, please remember, we all follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.